May 2, 2011, in the dead of night, under complete radio silence, two American helicopters crossed into Pakistani airspace. Their target? The world's most wanted man, Osama bin Laden. What followed was one of the most daring and secretive military operations in modern history. This is the story of Operation Neptune Spear, the mission that ended a decade-long manhunt and changed how wars are fought in the shadows. It began with tragedy. September 11, 2001. Nearly 3,000 Americans died in the most devastating terror attack on U.S. soil. The mastermind was al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. President George W. Bush launched the war on terror, vowing to bring him to justice. But bin Laden vanished, into the mountains of Tora Bora and into legend. For years, U.S. intelligence scoured Afghanistan and Pakistan. Drones flew overhead. Ground assets reported rumors, but nothing concrete. Until 2010, when a name surfaced, a courier, Abu Ahmed al-Kuwaiti. The CIA believed this courier was critical to bin Laden's movements. By tracking his vehicle, they found a mysterious compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, a city with a military academy nearby. The structure was unusual: 12 to 18-foot walls, barbed wire, no phone lines, no internet. And in the upper floors, a tall man walked the yard regularly. Could it be him? The intel wasn't perfect. For weeks, there were no secret site in North Carolina. But CIA Director Leon Panetta was convinced. He brought the findings to President Barack Obama. The room was split. If they were wrong, they'd be violating Pakistani sovereignty and risking American lives for nothing. Obama made a bold call. On April 29, 2011, he authorized a Navy SEAL team to enter the compound and confirm bin Laden's death or capture. The mission was classified Operation Neptune Spear. The team selected SEAL Team 6, officially known as the Naval Special Warfare Development Group, DevGRU, the best of the best. The intel wasn't perfect. For weeks, there were no secret site in North Carolina. An exact replica of the compound was built to simulate every possible scenario. The insertion would be at night using stealth helicopters, specially modified Blackhawks with radar dampening technology. 24 SEALs, 2 Blackhawks, a backup team aboard Chinooks nearby. The CIA's eyes on the ground was a Pakistani-American informant who helped confirm bin Laden's likely presence. Everything had to go perfectly. The world wouldn't know until it was over. On the night of May 1, 2011, at exactly 11 p.m. Pakistan time, 2 stealth-modified Black Hawk helicopters carrying members of the elite U.S. Navy SEAL Team 6 lifted off from a base in Jalalabad, Afghanistan. Their destination: a mysterious compound in Abbottabad, Pakistan, suspected to be the hiding place of Osama bin Laden. Flying at low altitude through rugged mountainous terrain, the pilots navigated skillfully to avoid Pakistani radar systems. After weeks of covert surveillance and simulation rehearsals in a mock compound back in the U.S., the mission, Operation Neptune Spear, was finally in motion. Around 12:30 a.m., as they reached the compound, something went wrong. Due to hotter-than-expected air conditions and high perimeter walls disrupting rotor lift, one of the Blackhawks crash-landed inside the compound. Despite the dramatic entry, the SEALs aboard were unhurt and quickly adapted. The crash, rather than derailing the mission, showcased their extreme discipline and training under pressure. They regrouped and proceeded with the assault plan. The team cleared rooms methodically, securing women and children in one area while searching for their target. On the third-floor stairwell of the main building, they encountered a tall man. "Osama bin Laden?" a SEAL called out. He gave no response. Moments later, a pair of shots were fired, one to the chest, one to the head. The code word rang over the radio: Geronimo EKIA, enemy killed in action. The world's most wanted terrorist was dead. The SEALs moved quickly, gathering vital intelligence, computers, hard drives, flash drives, and handwritten notes, everything that could offer insight into Al-Qaeda's operations. To prevent classified U.S. technology from falling into enemy hands, they rigged the downed Black Hawk with explosives and destroyed it on sight. In less than 40 minutes, the entire operation was complete. The team exited aboard backup helicopters and were out of Pakistani airspace before the local military could react. This raid was not only a tactical success, but also a masterclass in precision, secrecy, and improvisation under pressure, forever marking a turning point in the global fight against terrorism. At 11:35 p.m. Eastern Time on May 1, 2011, President Barack Obama addressed the nation with words that would echo around the world. Tonight, I can report to the American people and to the world that the United States has conducted an operation that killed Osama bin Laden. Across the United States, spontaneous celebrations erupted. People gathered at the White House gates, in Times Square, and at Ground Zero. For many, especially the families of 9/11 victims, it was a moment of long-awaited justice. There was relief, pride, and a bittersweet sense of closure. The man who had haunted the global conscience for nearly a decade was gone. However, the aftermath also sparked controversy and questions. Pakistan condemned the raid as a violation of its sovereignty, embarrassed that bin Laden had been hiding deep within its borders. Conspiracy theories quickly emerged when the U.S. announced that bin Laden's body had been buried at sea within 24 hours, citing Islamic customs. Critics demanded proof, and the absence of publicly released photos fueled suspicion. While the operation was a major victory in the war on terror, it also opened debates about international law, transparency, and the future of U.S. counterterrorism strategy. However, the days that the aftermath also U.S. sparked intelligence agencies and questions. Combed through Pakistan a trove of condemned the raid as a violation of its sovereignty. Compound. In computers, flash drives, handwritten notes, all pointing to bin Laden's continued involvement in guiding al-Qaeda operations. Contrary to the belief that he had become a passive figurehead, the evidence suggested he was still issuing directives, coordinating communication, and even strategizing future attacks. This discovery not only validated the urgency of the raid, but also provided actionable intelligence that led to further counterterrorism efforts. Meanwhile, the political fallout deepened. Pakistan's government faced international scrutiny and domestic outrage. Some accused it of incompetence, others of complicity. The U.S.-Pakistan relationship, already fragile, took a sharp dive, with funding and cooperation on security matters hanging in the balance. Despite the global significance of bin Laden's death, the manner in which it unfolded exposed the deep rifts and mistrust between supposed allies in the war on terror. While many hailed the raid as justice finally served, it became clear that the legacy of bin Laden and the questions surrounding his final years would linger far beyond the headlines. In the broader geopolitical landscape, bin Laden's death prompted shifts in counterterrorism priorities and raised urgent questions about the future of extremist movements. While al-Qaeda was weakened, it was far from eliminated. In the years that followed, splinter groups and new threats emerged, most notably ISIS, which would rise to global infamy just a few years later. U.S. military and intelligence strategies evolved rapidly, focusing more on drone warfare, cyber surveillance, and proxy conflicts. The raid became a blueprint for modern targeted operations, but it also underscored a sobering truth. Removing one leader does not end an ideology. The war on terror was entering a new and more complex phase. Operation Neptune Spear wasn't just a military victory. It marked a turning point in modern warfare. It showed that America's intelligence, special operations, and political will could reach anyone, anywhere. The use of stealth helicopters, real-time surveillance, and surgical military force would become the blueprint for future counter-terror missions. It also raised questions about sovereignty, about ethics, and about the long-term consequences of shadow wars. The raid that night didn't end terrorism. It didn't undo the past, but it proved something else, that justice, though delayed, could still be delivered. This was Operation Neptune Spear. This was the night America found its ghost. This was another chapter from the front lines of history where strategy, sacrifice, and bravery collide. If you found this story powerful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Battleline USA. More untold missions, forgotten warriors, and hidden truths await. Until next time, stand tall, stay curious, and keep your eyes on the battle line.